Okay, once again, another follow-up video. This one's for the Glock 30S holsters. I've broken out some of my other Glocks and most of my holsters, and we'll go over how they work with the Glock 30S, and again, side by side with some of the other Glocks that I have here. Another rainy day in Georgia. Seems to be the summer of rain, so we have to do an inside video again because I am bored and I can't be outside shooting. Let me try to put the camera down without too much shaking and dropping, and see if I can get it all on camera, because I hate shooting videos a second time because I wasn't on camera. Alright, Glock 30S. Safety check for all the firearms. They are all Glock 21 and 45 ACP, the Glock 30S in 45 ACP, the Glock 36 in 45 ACP, and the Glock 19 9mm. Okay. Now that you are all reassured that I am not playing with loaded firearms, and going to put empty mags in it, just give you the full views here. Again, for a comparison of my 30S to my 36, the 19 and the 21. See an earlier video I posted. The 19 shoots the 9mm, 15 round capacity when you're using the standard magazine. The Glock 36 is the only Glock that has a single stack magazine, holds 6 rounds. You can get another extended base pad allowing you to hold 7. You can put one, carry with one in the chamber too to increase your capacity. The new Glock 30S, which has 10 round standard size capacity mags, but as I said in my earlier video, and it's been well publicized, it will take the Glock 21 mags, which are the 13 round capacities, whereas the Glock 36 will not. Okay. I really want to just focus on the holsters I have here. Helps if I put the right magazine in the right gun. As you saw, the single stack magazine does not go in the 30S. It is only going to go in the Glock 36. I've got some outside the waistband holsters over here, and a couple of holsters over here for using the light rail attachment. The light, I like using the Streamlight TLR1S, S meaning it has the strobe light capability. Got a couple of these. One for the gun I'm keeping in the nightstand in the bedroom, and the other in case I want to have a light on the gun that I'm carrying. We'll do that last. Let's just recap these holsters here, starting with some of your tried and true. You're familiar with this. I forgot to mention, although I added it to the comments, that this Blackhawk Circle holster is for the Glock 19 or 26. Okay? I don't have my 26 with me, but taking the light rail attachment off, or the light off of the rail for the 19, I'll get that terminology down. As you see, the circle holster for the 26 works in the 19. Circle holster for the Glock 26 works for the Glock 36 and 45 ACP. This same small circle holster works for my Glock 30S. And the reason I like the circle holster is I have a side drop for a holster mount on my thigh when I'm hunting, so it's not on my belt clanging around against the butt of my rifle when I've shouldered my rifle, and I can take this off and mount this on the drop leg holster. I have a circle holster for my Glock 21, covers the entire barrel. The 30S does fit in it. it's retained, but it's kind of hard to see on camera how far in my finger goes before it's coming in contact with the nose of the gun, but it's retained and it's not going anywhere. But if I was going to use the Serpa holster for my 30S, I would use the one for my 19 or 26. That's the best fit for me. Works best for me. And of course, the 21, the Serpa holster for the 21 retains the 36, but it's loose and it's very top heavy because there's about this much muzzle inside the holster, and retains the 19. It's a little loose. Again, top heavy because the muzzle's, the barrel's not far down into the holster. Moving on to my Kydex holsters. I bought this from alabamaholsters.com. It was made for my Glock 19. That's what I ordered it for. It's the one I carry the most. It is a full Kydex holster. And I've actually found I like this the best on my hip versus the option where you get your hybrid holster with leather, but we'll get into that. But at any rate, so the Alabama holster, it was made for a Glock 19. Now it's showing you it holds well and fits nicely my Glock 36. My Glock 30S holds that well, and I use this this holster for my 30S. And you'll see though the 21 does not go in there because of the width of the slide. A lot of videos are out there expounding on, well, what's so special about this 30S? The frame itself down here, the width of this is the same width of the regular 30. So what are you saving yourselves? Well, I think this pretty much demonstrates it fits nicely in this holster, a smaller holster, closer to the body. Same would apply to an inside the waistband holster. I didn't break that one out. Whereas you'll see my 21 does not fit in that. You can see it just will not go in. So slide width is everything when you come to wearing a Glock that is in a holster. So for my Glock 21, I bought a it's a Blue Ridge discreet everyday carry outside the waistband. And this time with the Blue Ridge holsters, I got a retention screw, extra $5 for that retention screw. And it accommodates the Glock 21 very nicely, retains it very nicely. Little comparison, the 30S does fit in. It is retained. I could probably tighten down on that screw and make it a little better retention. So I think that's a nice point on the 36. If the holster is adjustable and can be tightened up a little, not only does it fit the holsters for a 36 or 19, you can use 21 holsters if you have the adjustment feature. The reason I bring that up is this is another holster also from Blue Ridge holsters. I got this originally for my 30S, but I did not get the retention screw. And in my first video I did for holster reviews, I noted that the gun was not retaining the 30S at all. So I sent it back, and they compressed it a little bit more on the holster, and now it works like a charm. Works really well, really like it. Perfect for the 30S. It's again by Blue Ridge holsters, cost about $55 without the retention screw, an extra $5 if you put the retention screw on it. It's called their Urban Everyday Carry Hybrid, and the hybrid meaning it's got the leather for the belt straps. One thing I find though, and I mentioned this in my first video, is I have a little bit of a paunch, and it tends to push the gun out a little, and it can pivot a little on this leather, which is fine. It adds to the comfort of the firearm, wearing that on your hip. However, it prints now on your t-shirt, so something to consider. Not a lot, but it prints a little bit more. So if you're wearing a tight t-shirt or something like that, might not be the way to go. If you're wearing a baggy button shirt, perfect. It works well, comfortable, adds you that flexibility, and very concealable with the right kind of loose-fitting shirt over top of it. And again, the retention is great. Just to show you, though, the 19, it works. It holds in it now. So before, if you look back at my first video, it did not. Same with the 36. It holds in that holster. So if you look back in that first video, I put my 19 in this holster, and it did not. It just came right out. I went like that, and it just would fall right out. So they added a little compression here for the retention. Now, interestingly enough, the 21 is tight, but it does go in, and it is retained. So I've actually found myself now, a little tight, a holster that accommodates them all. But that was not necessarily by design. That's just the way it worked out. And then, of course, that covers the holsters, rather, for the outside the waistband carry. Moving along, picking up the speed a little, because I realize I'm probably eating up my 10-minute video time. A couple holsters from sidearmorholster.com. Again, I talked about these in my earlier video. They're, let's look at the cheat sheet. The side armor holsters are $65. And the one is for the Glock 19, and this one's for the 21. Again, without the light, it's held and retained and works fine. The 19 without the light, retained, held, works fine. The 36 works in this and held and retained without a light, but as I mentioned earlier, also in that earlier video, the Glock 36 does not have a slot for the a rail attachment slot for your light, so we won't even be talking about that anymore. The 30S, while it fits in the one for the Glock 19 and is retained, it does not work because the light, once mounted on the firearm, is too long. Get this on. It doesn't go all the way down. Matter of fact, I'm having to push it, so I'm not going to, more than I would like to, versus the 19, which, again, nice and smooth. And again, it does have an adjustment screw. I can adjust the retention, but I've got this set perfectly for my 19. I'm not going to mess with perfection. Let's take that off there. Show you it on the 21. Again, it sits back further on the firearm, on the barrel, on the 21 than it does on the 30S. This is for the Glock 21. And you can begin to see that in the holsters, how the light on the 19 comes down a little bit lower versus the 21, which is almost even with and works great. What I've got now for the 30S, because Side Armor does not offer one for the 30S, is something from Raven Concealment. It's the Phantom Light compatible holster. It's got the built-in belt loops. You can have options for your belt loop size. I went with a 1.5 inch full body shield. It's got a 10-degree cant, and it's a little pricey though. It was $90, but now I've got a holster for my Glock 30S when I'm carrying my light, and it works great. Just a case in point, the 19, get that on there, does work in there, again, because of the phenomenon that the light on the 19 is a little further back. And what I mean by that, this is the 19, the light is a little further back. On the 30S, it's a little further forward. So while this holster's made for the 30S, it will accommodate my 19. So I guess had I known that, I could have gotten away with one for the 19 and the 30S and not had the Side Armor. I'm sorry, the Side Armor one, but I had this one first. Well, there you have it. Obviously, a lot to cover in a short video. I probably should have broken them out into 2 different videos, one for regular outside the waistband holsters and one for my lighted holsters, but in hindsight, that's probably what I should have done. Hopefully this all made sense and it didn't confuse my sizes too much, gun references to the Glocks. I'll try to correct it in my comments if I catch them. Feel free to send me a comment or an email through YouTube, and I will respond to any of your questions. Thanks for watching.